Okay, abusuya ba makwa ba sonko so ereba POG Media so. Abusuya yembonra eye yensemu. Eye Chief Justice Torkorno abusuya after say eye President John Dramani Mahama a release letter they suspended no. Abusuya eye NDC lawyer e kase Ghana lawyer or sound so ye law na nkasa. Ono ababonten ababe Worsen a Chief Justice Torkorno ni case no cry. Abusia lawyer Tsikata Ababe drop some Xpǒsěs against a Chief Justice Torkorno. Na utum se lawyer no up at the right time now I sad. Abusia yes I am young corner young concuti and some of course lawyer Tsikata why a Torkorno fem from ordinary to the level a fair na or train law na nkasa wa humble a Chief Justice Torkorno in his moment court na yankonkuti na answer na bekono or and some can be a fashion comment section like and I share my afro front so answer into me and can be aha POG Media so political trending stories are a make it waves in and so yeah just me say
Mane Mahama suspending area.
Well
Akoye mrenimfo asakoye oba na I mean the president aye ne kwema na
first of all
do justice to the topic.
First of all mechia etifo nyina na hwefo yeah na me say it's been going on for some time. Say petition no the woman say petition no nye na start here. It started 2024. In fact, Nana Dumpo and started process no. Na me say the reason why I made it started from 2024 no. Amount for Ashedama omurefi no mo pese o mo kase John Mahama na I started petition against if anything opeso oji Chief Justice, but the process started in 2024 when a petitioner wrote to His Excellency Nana Addo Akuffo say ye Chief Justice no. And Nana Addo so started process no. By law no, when the petition comes like that, I will say we start a process no because the people have their reasons for saying say ABR on grounds based on this and that we want this person removed. And Nana Addo started process no, and Nana Addo edify power. Nana Addo fee power no. I think there were 3 new petitions that got to the desk of His Excellency John Mahama. As president, you know, the Jumane say obe follow constitution, no. Omwaye investigations and omwehu say the petition is not just unfounded. The petition has grounds, and he, as a fair and just president, you know, on to me and sweepy petition no under the carpet. He has to make sure say he works on it. It's look, it's a public office. We all hold public offices, and we all allegiance to the Constitution, and our duty is to the people of Ghana. And see, if the people of Ghana, whom we serve, are saying, say, okay, this person we think is not discharging their duties properly in the interest of Ghanaians, and they write a petition, it is not up to the president to cover the person because she's a man or because she's a woman. You are put in that position not because you are a man or a woman, but because you are a Ghanaian and because you are qualified to do the job. So the people that you are serving, no, I say a few of them have brought some grievances against you, and they want the grievances to be investigated. Mugabe, it is a public civil service or public service sector. Say we are a director and now we are even the police service in the army and any other public institution. When a petition is brought against you and they think that it is worth investigating, no, they will indict you and tell you to go and sit at home until the investigation is completed. And see, I believe that with the judiciary, this is what has happened.
No, I'm going to say establish a
prima facie case. Okay. And see, in this instance, no, the grounds for her suspension, no, became letter na a fee presidency, no, almost say they have
her response to the president.
After her response, they have investigated, they have looked at the petitions. And And like I said, that this thing started in 2024, not even under His Excellency John Mahama. This process to remove the Chief Justice, I'm stressing it, the process to remove the Chief Justice started under Nana Addo with a petition. And it is continuing with 3 more petitions. And based on the petition, the president has found reasonable grounds for the Chief Justice to answer certain questions. And it is based on those grounds, President Akache Yamami Chief Justice say on Kotnefi a suspension. Kotnefi investigation. He has set up a 5-member committee to look into the allegations. Say allegations, 5-member committee no Kotnase. No muye now they don't find any case against her. I'm sure that she would go back to her position as chief. But if any wrongdoing is found against her, then I'm sure that going forward, the grounds for removal would follow from there. So we should allow
the recommendation will come from that
the 5-member committee. But for now,
forming that committee.
Their names are here.
Their names are there. I know. The former Auditor General is in it. Yes. You can mention the names.
Daniel Yaodomolevo is there. Justice Samuel Kobna Edubi, Justice of the Supreme Court, is also there. Then Major Flora. As for the middle name, I cannot mention. Dalagu.
So yeah.
Yes, and then Professor James Sefa Jisa, Associate Professor, University of Ghana. They are all members.
So there are two members of the Supreme Court on it.
Pamwan, and then there's that judge here, Justice Samuel Kwame Edibu Esiedu.
Yes.
Justice of the Supreme Court. Wow.
So we have to allow the committee to do its work. Anonymous serving. Anonymous 5 and anonymous 7. Anonymous 7. Almost 30 precedents, And see, anyway, so the committee will do its work. Now, how did we get here? Is the question. How did we get here? Alista? Yeah. Because Ghanaians have lost trust in the judiciary. In any government setup, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature, and we have the executive. But in the past 8 years, what we saw was that the judiciary was taking instructions from the executive, and the ordinary Ghanaians started agitating. So even when there's a case against an individual based on where the political party or how the person is seen now, you can tell how the judgment or the ruling is going to come out. And see, before it comes out, you can predict, say, where a anonymous 7 they are going to do their thing. So there's like more or less mistrust with the judiciary. Because I say on one of our campaign trails, His Excellency John Mahama spoke to them and told our justices, say yes, Nana Addo Ena appointed him as Chief Justice and as a Justice of the Supreme Court. But however, your term is protected by the Constitution, so it is up to you to ensure, say, you do the right thing. Do not. Me can say Nana Addo na appointed wunti, you are going to dance to his tune. So can say jeli NDC ni we na we jeli no. So can say mia wensa na wa mia wensa. That is not how justice works. Until Lady Justice herself was suffering under the past government, and justice is not for sale. Justice should not be for political appointment, where maybe you are a Supreme Court judge, a High Court judge, and see you please if anything, government in power so that you be promoted to Court of Appeal judge. Justice should not be pushed aside for you to be able to climb up your career. That is unfair to the people that you are meting out justice to. So this thing is going to be a precedent. I know people are saying, okay, Oyoba. At the end of the day, it is the office that we are looking at. We are not looking at gender here. She occupies, she's not the first female judge. Justice Georgina Wood has been there. Sophia Akuffo has been there. I don't think that there were any of these charges against these two honorable women that I have just mentioned their names. So whatever she did, and there are some memes. Mugabe, you know what a meme is? When we say Diana, Ebia Metihona, Minimi, Huna, Maye Menim Bibi, then it goes around as a meme.
Yeah.
Then people start using it. In Ebia, who send you a message, and then they will send my face as a meme to you. So there are some memes where she was sort of eyeing them in public. Yeah. And that meme went around with the Chief Justice, you know. You know, and our body language and facial expression says a lot. It tells a lot about what we are thinking. I always say what my mouth will not say. Look in my eyes, you see it. Say bibina mpese meka wo de hwemeni is all written in my eyes. You see what exactly I'm thinking. So we could actually tell what she was thinking about His Excellency John. But I don't think it has anything to do with it. That's her personal. So you can't force her to like JM whether open or pen. But we have seen so many instances where you know the law should have gone a certain way, but it went the other way because you could see that there were some higher hands pulling the strings, and I believe that didn't augur well for her. And Tina, Musa Dankwa did a research, a poll. He conducted a poll. Global Info Analytics. Yeah. And about 58% of Ghanaians, 52% of Ghanaians, 58 na ye winnie and they be in the woman 52% of Ghanaians want her out. Yeah. So if 52% want her out now, then she's toasted. 18 neutral. 18, yes, she's toasted. You cannot continue to be there. Justice is very, very important.
So your Global Info Analysis now.
Yeah, and then the order. 52% and Gray no year 11 year almost on the neutral. 20% oppose. Okay. 18%. So only 20% oppose her removal. Only 20%. The rest of the country feel that confidence in the judiciary must be restored. Maybe as leader of the judiciary, maybe if she is removed, then that confidence that we are looking for in the judiciary, as a Ghanaian, I don't have to suffer injustice because me NDC. Nobody deserves injustice. Look, there are people who went to jail for crimes they didn't commit. They spend their whole lives, and if you are lucky, maybe you find a pro bono lawyer who will take your case and investigate and have you removed. But if you are not lucky, you'll be in jail for a crime that you never committed. That is injustice. And look at that. What money when so and our man like she's done this. Say any time born. What money when so it different will. It different will. That's why he was looking.
Yeah, she should look back at herself and go home and say bye bye.
Yeah, you know.
That be suspended. The guy has more power than you. What do you say?
But like I said, no, I don't think.
Who is one or share a year list,
This look at this video one. This one. She was being unfair in court to Justice Tadio Song.
And
pronouncements.
This is where Chachu told her that the future is pregnant. Yes. This is where Chachu told her that.
Let's listen to exactly what
that's suspended, but it's not suable.
I take it that's really in your
so if I would...
It is important to place on record that both the plaintiff and the Attorney General have complied with these orders, and this court is able to complete hearing of this suit if the Speaker chooses to file no processes. For the above reasons, the application is refused.
Lord, we are extremely grateful.
So, Mr.
Not so grateful.
So, Mr. Sorry, will you be filing anything, or should we hear without you?
Oh, no, I don't have instructions on that matter, but especially so that if my lady looks at the affidavit that I filed, I said the order was served on the Speaker on Monday, so he has 7 days. I will speak with him to draw his attention to the course.
exceptional circumstances that would flow from the effect of the ruling of the Speaker of Parliament declaring the 4 seats vacant and a determination not to allow the MPs to remain in Parliament. What are some of the effects that weighed on our minds as exceptional circumstances that were alluded to in the ruling? The 4 constituencies of Amenfi Central, Fomena, Agona West, and Suhum in the Western region, Ashanti region, Central region, and Eastern regions of Parliament are made up of hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians who had queued to elect these members of Parliament to represent their interests in Parliament as their voices. By declaring that their duly elected representatives in Parliament had vacated their seats for acts that were interpreted within the light of Article 97(1)(g) by the Speaker, the Speaker was actually enforcing this interpretation of Article 97(1)(g) against those hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians, and not just the 4 people that sit in Parliament. We have considered the application and find that the grounds supporting the application have no merit because of the very explicit and clear directions of the 1992 Constitution, specifically Article 2, Article 130, and Article 296, and established decisions of the Supreme Court from decades of the country's constitutional history. Grant of orders beyond 10 days. The Speaker's lawyer urges that because of Order 25 Rule 18 of the High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2004, CI 47, that enjoins high courts to grant injunctions and other preservation orders for 10 days in the first instance if heard ex parte and without notice to one party summoned before the court. The Supreme Court was also enjoined to grant the ex parte order for 10 days as a matter of rules and practice.
I conclude with prophetic words that were spoken centuries ago. For they sow the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. These are the words of the prophet Hosea, to be found in Hosea chapter 8, verse 7. He that has an ear, let him hear. I conclude with prophetic words that were spoken centuries ago. For they sow the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. These are the words of the prophet Hosea, to be found in Hosea chapter 8, verse 7. He that has an ear, let him hear.
Well, thanks to my production team for that wonderful work. Mami call Her Excellency so
your senior Chachuka no. You sow the wind and you shall reap the whirlwind. The obediano eno na until no na insa me can say yenya imba chief justices Georgina Wood in fire. She's the third one. What she sowed is what she's reaping. People lost trust in the judiciary, and she's the head. And mostly, we saw it based on her own facial expression. But Mugabe, you see, the content of the petition, that's not what we are even talking about. There's one Auditor General's report that I chanced on, where her daughter was collecting per diem.
Yes, 10,000.
She was traveling with her daughter. Yes. Your children are not supposed to collect per diem.
She's above 18 years too.
She's above, and listen, when you are traveling, the only person whose ticket, airfare must be bought is you, the officer. The government or the state does not need to buy a ticket for your spouse, or unless
even the husband went to Zambia, they paid him $6,000.
Yes. So her children were on government whatever. Omu your business class ticket momo. Na yasa amomu per diem. In what capacity was her daughter collecting per diem? A day juma no kwa koya ma buying and see na ye tuya ni ba. And as a chief justice, you should know better. You see, the bar that we use to measure the chief justice is higher. So you do not let your children, you don't put yourself in that position where Yeah, where your children are being paid per diem. Dear Juana, Wobano, Okwakwaya ma banti ana yedi yesika 8 per diem. For what? For what?
We are number 4, the whole.
For what? What did the American say? And in the past, no, when Charlotte Osei was being removed, Charlotte Osei herself was a woman. A female judge is going to be removed. A female. Where were they? When Charlotte Osei was removed, I a good animasi or Bema Baku a cultural petition. Bema a Charlotte Osei family a share no a man ye nipa a turn around because of political then SLA Mefane say Obi at say Ninuya because he grew up in their home. Am I a Pamo Charlotte Osei? Where were those people? This country is full of hypocrites. When it suits them, they will condemn it. When it doesn't, when they wanted Charlotte Osei out there, not Charlotte Osei, no a bear man, I know a hermaphrodite. But where do your bounty and fan channel? Baby, the justice system is very expensive. People's lives depend on the justice system. And if the justice system is corrupt, and something must be done about it. Something must be done about it. And like her, no, she's a judge. She's had instances where people's lives have come before her, and she has had to take the decision on their lives to determine whether they are wrong or right. This time, look, that's why we are in a constitutional rule. No one is above the law, not even the president. The president is also not above the law. And the Chief Justice is not above the law. So if there's anything that has been found untoward in the petition has been found against her now, she will face the law accordingly. Same way that people are brought to her for her to judge, be the judge, and to determine their fate. You know, she would also face that the same. We are all not above the law.
Very well, Alyssa.
Okay, abusunya wene ensema ekoso ewo political highway so Chief Justice Torkorno say prima facie case ya establish against here no and say itwago ya lawyer Tsikata ono so aba be expose but am asesa mo je pene kokoti sa otiwi e de mai POG Media so